Okay, Math 1 1.9 Compound Inequalities. So these are a lot like inequalities, like normal inequalities that we already looked at, except you're going to have two of them here. So you kind of have to, whenever I solve for x here, I'm going to multiply by 2 because I have x divided by 2. But I'm going to have to do it to both sides. You kind of treat it like you have two equal signs. So let me rewrite this here. 1 less than x over 2 less than or equal to 2. So I start off, I'm going to multiply everything by 2. And I get 2 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 4. Now, you're going to look at this in two steps. First, let's look at this left piece. So it says it has 2, so I'm going to put a dot on 2, and it's going to be an open dot, right? It says x is bigger than 2 is one way to read that, or 2 is smaller than x, so I know I'm going to shade this way. I'm just going to do a little bit of it, and then I'm going to see what I get with the 4. So now I look at the other side of it. I have 4 is bigger than or equal to x, right? So x is smaller than or equal to 4. So I'm going to put a closed circle on 4 because we have the equal to. And it says x is smaller than, so I'm going to go over here. All right, if you guys wanted to, you could plug in a point or plug in a number and try that out, but sometimes it's more convenient or it goes a little bit faster if you just kind of think about it says that it's smaller than, it says that it's bigger than, you're looking left or right. Okay, number 2, same idea. We have to divide this 6 and we're going to have to divide everything by 6. So let me rewrite this, negative 30, let me go back to my blue. Negative 30 less than 6p less than equal to 36. I divide everything by 6. I have my p by itself. 36 divided by 6 is 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5, and it's going to be negative. Right? We did not divide by a negative there, so we don't have to flip our signs. I go here, I'm going to do an open dot on negative 5, a closed dot on 6. And another way to read this guy is to say that p is between those, right? Because it says that negative 5 is smaller than p, which is smaller than 6. So we know that we're going to be shading in the middle. All right, number 3. This one gets a little bit longer, so let me rewrite it. Negative 11 less than or equal to 3v plus 1 less than or equal to negative 8. We'll start off by subtracting 1 from everything. And again, since we have two inequalities, we have to end up doing it 3 times, not just 2. So we're going to have negative 12 less than or equal to 3v less than or equal to negative 9. Now we have to divide everything by 3. So I have v in the middle. I have my two inequalities. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. So I'm going to close dot both of these. Right, because we have the equal to, and just like in number 2, this is saying really that v is between these two guys. So we have it like that. Number 4, now this is a little bit different. We have this or there. So really we have to treat this like it's going to be two problems, and we're going to graph them on the same paper. So first I'll deal with this left guy. So we've got 4a minus 5 is less than negative 9. I'll start off by adding 5 to both sides. I get 4a is less than negative 4. I divide both sides by 4, and I get a is less than negative 1. I'll go ahead and graph this. So I have an open circle on negative 1. It says a is less than negative 1. A is smaller than negative 1. So that means that I'm going to have to go over here. Okay. So let me highlight this in orange. That way I know what's what. Next up, we have this guy here. So we're going to have 5 minus 2a is less than 3. I'll subtract 5 from both sides, and I get negative 2a is less than, what was that going to be? Negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2. Now, big thing here, we have to make sure that the sign flips, right? Here it's one way, here it's the other way. We have a is bigger than, well, this is going to be 1. So this guy here, we have a is bigger than 1. It's going to be an open circle again. A is bigger than 1, so I'm going to have to shade over here. All right. See how we kind of have just two problems graphed on the same one. Now, something to watch out for. Sometimes these dots might overlap, and that'll change some things, and I think we'll have a problem like that. Number 5. We'll start off dealing with this guy on the left. We have 3x minus 3 is greater than 1 plus 2x. I'm going to put my x's on the left. See, I have an x over here and an x over here. I'm going to subtract the 2x and put it on the left. So we have x, just a plain old x, minus 3 is greater than 1. I'll add the 3 to both sides, and I get x is greater than 4. I'll graph this one in orange. So I'm going to do an open dot on 4, and it says x is bigger than 4, so I need to shade over here. Next up, we have this guy here. So I'll say, well, 6x minus 3 is less than 3x plus 6. Again, I'm going to put my x's on the left, so I'll subtract 3x from both sides. I've got 3x minus 3 is less than 6. I'll add 3 to both sides, and I get 3x is less than 9. Now to finish up, I got to divide both sides by 3. If you get x is less than 3. I'll graph this one in blue. X is less than 3, so I'm going to have an open circle on 3, and it's smaller than 3, so I'm going to be shading over here. All right, number 6. We'll start off with this guy. We get 6n plus 6 is greater than 5n plus 4. I'll put all my n's on the left. So I get n plus 6 is greater than 4. I'll subtract 6 from both sides, and I get n is greater than negative 2. So if n is greater than negative 2, I have an open circle on negative 2. It's greater than 2, so I'm going to be shading over here. Okay. Alrighty, next up, this guy here. I've got 2 plus 5n less than or equal to 4n minus 1. Again, I'm going to put my n's on the left, so minus 4n. Minus 4n. Whenever you're dealing with inequalities, it's normally a little bit easier to understand them if your variable is on the left. I know that I've talked before about how if you have just a plain old equal sign and you're solving a linear equation, it's good to be able to be flexible and have the variable on the left or the right. Normally with these, it's just easier to do it on the left. Yeah. So now I'm going to have 2 plus n is less than negative 1. I subtract 2 from both sides, and I get n is less than negative 3. I'll graph this one in green. Open circle on negative 3. It says n is smaller than negative 3, so it's going to be going over here. Number 7. We'll start off with this left guy again. We get 6p plus 2 is less than or equal to 5p minus 3. I'll move my 5p to the left, and I get p plus 2 less than or equal to negative 3. Subtract 2 from both sides. P is less than or equal to negative 5. I guess I'll go ahead and graph this guy here. I have a closed circle on negative 5. It says that P is smaller than negative 5, so it's smaller than is going to be shading to the left. All right, for the second one, we're going to have negative 4p plus 2 is greater than negative 4 minus 6p. I'm going to put my p's on the left, so I'll add 6p to both sides. 2p plus 2 is greater than negative 4. I'll subtract 2 from both sides, and I get 2p is greater than negative 6. I divide by 2 on both sides. P is greater than negative 3. So I'm going to have an open dot on negative 3, and it says P is bigger than, so it's going to be going to the right. All right, that's number 7. All right, number 8 has a trick that I forgot about. Whenever you have something where you've got K's in all 3 spots, you can work on it for a while and see if you can solve it. In this scenario, I couldn't find a nice way to solve it like what we've been doing, getting our K's in the middle. So we have to do a trick here where we break it up. So we're going to take this guy, and we're going to take this guy, and we're going to make them separate. So I'm going to have 3k minus 1 is greater than or equal to 4 minus 2k. This is the yellow guy. Let me make that k a little bit better. And we also have 4 minus 2k is greater than or equal to 2 minus k. This is the green guy, right? All the other ones, we didn't have to break it up like this. But if you get a hard one, you're gonna need to. And really, we have the word and in the middle of there, right? On some of those, I wrote or. This one has and. So we got to solve both sides. I'm going to add 2k to both sides on this one. So I'm going to have 5k minus 1 is greater than or equal to 4. I'll add 1 to both sides, and I get 5k is greater than or equal to 5. Divide by 5 on both sides, and k is greater than or equal to 1. On the right side, I will add 2k to both sides. So I get 4 is greater than or equal to 2 plus k. Subtract my 2 from both sides, and I get 2 is greater than or equal to k. Now, just to make this easier, I'm going to write both of these to where my k is like on the inside. So this one over here is going to be 1 is less than or equal to k, and this one over here is going to be k is less than or equal to 2. And we could combine those up and say, well, 1 is less than or equal to k is less than or equal to 2. And I put those back together. So now we have a nice inequality that we can graph again. So you got 1 over here. We have a solid dot on 1. We've got a solid dot on 2, and we shade the middle. All right, let's talk about this just a little bit more. This guy and this guy are the exact same thing. I just flipped them over, right? At the end, I wanted to get my k's in the middle so that I could rewrite it as one guy, okay? This guy and this guy are the same. I just flipped it. So hopefully this makes sense. Number 8 is one of the harder kind of problems that we have, but hopefully you're able to do it. Let me know if you need help.